Hello everyone, welcome to the Astrology News Report, a look at what's happening in the zodiac and how it influences life on Earth according to Vedic astrology. I'm Ron Berger. Today is October 30th, 2016. In this special reports edition, I'll analyze the 6 weeks long transit of Mars in Capricorn for results for each rising sign. As always, I am using the sidereal zodiac, so if you are thinking of your Western astrology chart, you have to subtract 24 degrees from your natal positions to get to the genuine zodiac positions. Mars is in sidereal Capricorn from October 31st to December 11th this year. Capricorn is Mars's sign of exaltation, meaning this is a very favorable sign for Mars. The planet of action and effort does well in the sign of practical results. This is a good combination for getting things done. Mars gets an additional boost from Saturn because Saturn is in Mars's sign, Scorpio. Since Capricorn is one of Saturn's signs, the energy gets transferred in the other direction as well, forming what is called a Parivartana Yoga, which will continue for as long as Mars is in Capricorn, 6 weeks. Saturn contributes its focusing power to Mars, making Mars's actions even more concentrated. Saturn also adds its qualities of hard work and endurance to Mars's efforts. So, it's important to know what part of your chart the Mars energy will be affecting so that you can take advantage of it. Now I will go through the zodiac and analyze what to expect for each rising sign. For Aries rising people, Mars transits in their 10th house, the house of deeds in community, career, and professional activities. Mars gives you energy to work hard at your business, to take action in your professional pursuits, and gives you the courage to initiate a new project. But this is also the house of authorities, in other words, your boss and the government. Mars is the planet of combat, so you have to be careful of getting too aggressive, risking conflict with your superiors, or running afoul of government officials. But since Mars is exalted and supported by Saturn, this is mostly a good transit for making progress in your career and getting recognition for your work. For Taurus rising people, Mars transiting in Capricorn puts it in your 9th house, the house of destiny, good fortune, religion, father, guru, meritorious deeds, and long-distance travel. Mars is an action planet, so going on a journey would be appropriate. Mars in this sector of your chart will compel you to promote your beliefs, but that includes fighting against anyone else whose beliefs don't agree with your own. The planet of action in the house of meritorious deeds, especially in Capricorn, a sign that wants honor, inclines you to be helpful to others, and especially if you get recognized by so doing. For Gemini rising people, Mars is transiting in your 8th house, the house of partners' wealth, financial arrangements with others, secret actions, chronic problems, and humiliation. The planet of action is unwelcome in this part of the chart. Careful of giving in to impulse for an indulgence that turns out to be regrettable. When in Capricorn, Mars tries to plan things out to work to your advantage. New financial involvements, and even existing ones, could become a source of reward. But Mars is also the planet of infections, injury, and surgery, and the 8th house is the house of chronic health issues. Mars will be transiting in the 7th house for Cancer rising charts, the house of one-on-one relationships, in other words, spouse or significant other, and also business partner, clients, and deals in distant places. Mars is generally problematic for relationships when it transits through the 7th house. There's more likelihood for aggression, impatience, angry outbursts, and even accidents. Mars's energy can be successfully used for actions with partner. In other words, doing things together, especially physical activities. So, go on a trip, or repaint the room, or play a round of golf, or something like that. Mars powers up the 7th house of the direct enemy, so this would not be a good time to be engaged in a legal battle. If you are a Leo rising person, Mars will be transiting through your 6th house, affecting your health, employment situation, relationship with coworkers, and ability to solve problems. A natural malefic planet like Mars, transiting through the 6th house, is considered useful for defeating enemies, overcoming obstacles, solving problems, and so on. And perhaps more so, since it is exalted in this sign. But Mars is the planet of infections, inflammations, injury, and accident, and this is your 6th house of health, so careful in that area. The planet of action in the house of employment could be good for the job search. Mars is also the planet of brothers and comrades in the house of coworkers, so this is helpful for getting projects accomplished in coordination with the people you have to work with. For Virgo rising people, Mars transiting in Capricorn puts it in your 5th house, therefore affecting your relationship with your lover and or child. Mars is passionate in love, but in a reasonable sign like Capricorn, the heat cools off somewhat. Mars likes fast results, and in the 5th house of speculation and investments can bring inspiration for some new project. With this transit, the relationship with your child works better if you can engage in 5th house activities together, such as playing games, going to the movies, taking a walk together, and so on. Mars, the planet of victory, especially likes competitive games. Mars will be transiting in the 4th house for Libra charts. The house of contentment and domestic harmony is not a favorable place for the planet of aggression. Everything works well, but only so long as there is no disagreement or opposition from others. The home front becomes the venue for the ambitions and efforts of Capricorn Mars. Mars likes physical activity, so one positive outlet for this energy is the 4th house, is for doing something like a home improvement project. Put up the new bookshelves, build a deck, work on the garden, or work on your car, another 4th house signification. Mars, the planet of action, in the 4th house of Mother, suggests some involvement with your mother, or something going on in her life. Scorpio rising people will experience Mars affecting their 3rd house. This is considered to be a favorable transit. It's the planet of action in the house of self-efforts, the do-it planet in the house of skills and talents. Best to have something that needs doing, that puts your skills to use. The only downside is that you have to be careful about being overbearing towards the 3rd house people. Mars, the planet of impatience and combat, in the house of siblings and neighbors, can become too aggressive in those relationships. Also, the focused effort of Mars, assisted by Saturn transiting in your Scorpio ascendant, applied to the 3rd house of everyday actions, suggests that you better have an agenda of things to do to put all this energy to use. For a Sagittarius rising chart, Mars will transit the 2nd house of personal finances, materiality, family, and speech. The planet of aggression in the second house indicates harsh speech. Nor is the planet of combat a friendly item in the house of family relations. Mars can be proactive for new developments in the house of earnings, but simultaneously can boost expenditure because this is the planet of action in the house of material belongings. Capricorn Mars has all sorts of practical reasons why the new whatever it is needs to be purchased. Mars as the planet of impulse, transiting your house of the mouth, is problematic for healthy eating habits. And since it's also the planet of infection, it can even indicate a trip to the dentist. If you are a Capricorn rising person, the Mars transit will affect you very directly by transiting your first house of self. This is an energizing transit. Mars likes physical actions, so it's best to have projects to do. Mars is combative when challenged, and even though Capricorn is normally adverse to combat, this is a transit that is strongly inclined to want things your way. So, best to stick with people who already agree with what you want to accomplish. When transiting through your ascendant, Mars makes you ambitious, impatient, and subject to your impulses. Mars likes competition and victory, so anything that has the potential for winning is a good bet for putting the Mars energy to use. Aquarius rising people will experience Mars transiting in the 12th house, the house of hidden things, the unknown, which includes unknown people, unknown places, as well as the subconscious. Mars is the planet of attack, and when transiting in the 12th house of the unknown, indicates somebody making a move against you from behind your back. Even if there is no physical threat, Mars here will produce fear of the potential, in other words, anxiety. This is the house of loss and expense, so watch out that the Mars hastiness doesn't impel you to do something you'll regret. The planet of action in the house of humanitarian acts may prompt you to volunteer, to try to save somebody or save the world. If you are Pisces rising, the Mars transit in Capricorn will affect your 11th house, the house of goals and ambitions. The action planet in this part of your chart contributes useful energy for pushing you towards more achievements. It may help your involvement in another 11th house area as well. Group activities, friends and associates. Capricorn Mars is practical about reaching the goal, and due to being powered up by Saturn, increases the potential to realize your 11th house hopes and dreams. So, it's important to formulate what the objective will be, so you can put this energy pattern to good use. Okay, that concludes the tour of the zodiac for this Mars transit, and here's another thing. Like all planets, Mars throws its energy full force to the other side of the zodiac, in this case impacting Cancer and any planets therein. In Vedic astrology, Mars also throws a full force aspect 4 signs, in other words 90 degrees, ahead of itself, and 8 signs, in other words 210 degrees, ahead of itself. From Capricorn, these influences will impact Aries and Leo. The aspect of Mars, the planet of attack, is not considered beneficial for what it lands on. Therefore, if you have a natal planet or sensitive point in Cancer, Aries, or Leo, you have to expect some problems in the area of your life signified by that sector of your chart. Mars will be in Capricorn for all of November and the first week and a half of December, when it then moves into the next sign, Aquarius. Okay, that'll do it for this episode of the Astrology News Report. Check back next week for more celestial events and analysis of what's happening in the zodiac.